Welcome students. Our today's class in mineral processing is on comminution. Comminution is one of the basic activities that we do whenever we want to process or whenever we want to take metal out of a mineral. So the first and fundamental question is up to what size we have to reduce the particles. That depends upon the characterization we have already discussed in the previous class. So, what is characterization? Characterization is an understanding of how the mineral is formed and what is the size fragments at which you can separate out the pure mineral and pure waste product. So, the composite material consisting of the useful content and useless waste content will be reduced in size so that each is separate from the other, or most of that is separated. So because we are reducing in size, it is expected that some of the particles will be having entirely the mineral part, and some of the particles will be having entirely the waste, and some particles will be having the composition in between. So however much we may try, we may not be able to reduce some particles with the dual materials. So the process of reducing the particle size of a substance to a final state or powder is known as comminution. It is done with the help of mortar and pestle or mills. So the different mills used in the reduction of particle size are hammer mill, ball mill, colloidal mill, fluid energy mill, like that. So what are the objectives and advantages of size reduction? The objectives are to produce smaller particles, to increase surface area, to achieve proper mixing, to improve handling of powders, to prepare pharmaceutical dispensaries, to improve the flow of powder, to improve the physical stability, to improve dissolution rate of powders, to improve the rate of absorption, to improve the extraction process. These are our objectives. So what are the principles that go in size reduction? We have, for example, vegetables. We don't crush them. What we do? We cut them. Similarly, if the products are malleable, it is not easy to crush them. Even if you crush them, they will regain their shape and size. So we undertake cutting in that circumstances. The material is cut into smaller pieces by means of shape, like blade, a cutter mill. So in case they are brittle and strong, what we do? We do the compression. The material is crushed by application of pressure. So pestle is that we use in our kitchens, and a colloidal mill is used in a pharmaceutical plant. So for compression is also used, but when we are compressing, we know that when particle is pressed, in the opposite direction there will be tensile stresses and the particle breaks due to tension. So the impact, the material is, third thing is the material is impacted. It is put on a stable and stationary platform, and then it is hit by another heavy object. The material is stationary and is hit by moving object at high speed, or vice versa. Otherwise, sometimes we throw the material at the stationary part of the crusher. Attrition is the material is in motion with the surfaces and the pressure is applied to the material. Example, roller mill, fluid energy mill. So here you can see the various activities. The cutting is not shown in this picture. Impact is shown. When we are impacting, there will be breakage. This is attrition. The two parallel plates are moving in opposite direction and the material is getting crushed due to surface action. So here is the third picture where the material is being reduced in size due to shear. So that is what happens in a scissors or something like that. And fourth is the compression. We already discussed this, that when we are compressing the material, there will be tensile stresses created in the opposite direction and the material breaks into smaller pieces. So what are the factors that are affecting the size reduction? One is hardness. Hardness is the resistance of the material to deformation. It is measured using Morse scale of hardness. The Morse scale is divided into 10 parts, 1 to 10. So various minerals are usually given the name, for corundum, diaspore, bauxite, cryolite, something like that. So there will be a scale of 1 to 100. Graphite is the most less hard, and diamond is the most hardest material. So one thing that is apparent from hardness is that the harder material can scratch on the softer material, but softer material cannot scratch on the harder material. So if you want to compare two minerals and want to know which is harder, simply try to scratch one over the other, and the material that is able to scratch is of higher hardness. Second part of the factors affecting the size reduction are toughness. Toughness is the ability of the material to absorb energy and resist impact. Soft but tough material is more difficult to reduce in size than hard but brittle. So if it is brittle, it is easy to reduce. But if it is softer, it is very difficult to reduce in size. Example, toughness. Rubber is hard and tough. Soft and tough is rubber, but chalk is hard and uh, soft. Abrasiveness. It is the property of the hard materials, especially minerals, that causes uh, scraping or wearing of the machine. Abrasive substances, when reduced in size, may contain 0.1% metal from the machine. So these are the different other part stickiness. It is the property of the material to stick to the machine parts during the size reduction and block the parts. Drying or addition of inert substance may help in avoiding this problem of sticky materials. For example, gum and resins, what will happen if you try to crush them? They will change their shape, and then they will regain their shape. Can you crush and make smaller particles out of a sponge? No. You have to cut them or you have to pull them apart. Only then they can be reduced. So class lo mali maatladtam. So softening temperature. The temperature required to soften or melt materials is important in size reduction. So temperature should be kept low to avoid softening of materials and reduction in size. Example, waxy substance can melt at high temperature. So then other important thing is moisture content. Moisture content of a material can affect its hardness, toughness or stickiness. Generally, materials should be dry and contain less than 5% of the moisture before they can be crushed. The other important factor is bulk density. Bulk density of powder is defined as the mass per unit volume. Higher density means less volume occupied and more batch capacity. What are the physiological effects? Some substances are very potent, and dust may affect person. So the dust, for example, silica, sand, if we crush them, and if silica is in airborne, it is harmful to the persons who are taking breath in that atmosphere. So they should be grind in closed mills. So those substances like that, they should be covered, and see that the dust is not spread into the general atmosphere. Then other important point is ratio of feed size to the product size. The amount of feed affects the product size. So the size reduction may be done in several stages with different equipments. For example, a jaw crusher, it has got a size reduction ratio of 1:7. That means a input size of 1 meter, the output size can be only something like 150 mm. And if 150 mm is input a second in a secondary crusher, the output size will be somewhere around 25 mm or 12 mm. And if we need to further reduce, we have to use the tertiary crushing. Similarly, grinding. In grinding, it is not never done in one stage because the size reduction ratio it will affect it. So it cannot be reduced directly. It has to be done in stages. So the first is a cutter mill. It works on the principle of cutting. The stationary and rotatory blades are attached to the mill and screen of desired size is present at the lower part. The material is fed through hopper and size of material is reduced by blades moving at high speed. Coarse powder is obtained through this mill. So you can see in the diagram that there is a perforations on the bottom side. So with gravity, when the materials are falling, they are sieved automatically. The oversized material are taken by the blades and they are impacted and their shear forces will be acting on the stationary and the moving parts and the material will be cut to size. Ultimately, all the material will go down the sieve. Hammer mill. It works on the principles of impactor. The hammer mill consists of central shaft attached to a number of hammers in a steel case. When the shaft is rotated, hammers swing in radial position. The screen of the desired size is fitted at the lowest portion. The material is fed to hopper. The size of material is reduced by impact of hammers. So limestone is one example. If we want to take the examples of mining, so limestone is brittle enough to be cut by this hammer mill. What are the advantages of hammer mill? They are simple to install and operation is continuous. They are fast in action and can reduce the size of different parts of types of material. There is no chance of contamination due to abrasion of metal. The particle size of the product can be controlled by changing speed, hammer or spring. Roller mill. It works on the principles of attrition. The roller mill consists of two metal rolls with adjustable gap between them. The speed of the rollers and the gap between the rollers determine the size of the particles. The material is fed to the hopper. The size of the particles is reduced by moving rollers. So it is plain and simple. You can see in the diagram the feed material is coming, and then first there are first pair of rollers which are reducing the size to some at a ratio of 1:7. They get reduced, and the material is fed into the second set of pair of rollers, and here the material is further reducing size. Ball mill. Ball mill is used in grinding, so it is generally not used in crushing. So grinding action is mainly attrition only. This mill works on the principles of impact and attrition. So the balls, when they are falling with gravity, due to the effect of gravity, there is impact on the floor. So the breakage happens due to the impact at that case, and then while the balls are being rolled along the body of the material, attrition happens. So there is size reduction. It consists of cylindrical container filled with a number of balls made up of steel. The balls acts as grinder. The size of the balls determines the particle size. The cylindrical container is rotated at slow speed. The material is fed to the hopper and the moving balls reduce the size of the material. Here in this diagram, you are seeing the cross section of the ball mill. This ball mill rotates at a slow speed, at a speed less than the critical speed. What is critical speed? If you are rotating at a very high speed, what happens? The centrifugal force of the material, the balls, they almost practically stick to the surface of the outer surface, inner surface of the moving shell. So what happens? They never fall down due to effect of gravity. So it should never attain that speed. The ball mill should be operated at speed less than critical speed. So when it is operated in critical speed, the material tumbles down, it moves up, and then it tumbles down. So during that process, it knocks along the body of the mill, and also particles will be rubbing against each other, and then when it is falling due to gravity, there is impact. So the breakage of the materials happen due to the combined. So material is spread from either left or right, and then the material is taken out from the opposite side. So usually ball mill operates with a medium. The medium is water. So water is used as a mechanism in which through which the materials travel from one end to the other, and water helps in keeping the particles together, suspended in the form of a colloidal mass, and the crushing takes place. So the final mass will be reduced. So always, so how do we see that the size is achieved? The output is taken to a classifier. So classifier acts similar to a crusher, screen, where the oversize is reduced, flowed back, sent back to the ball mill, and the undersize is the product, final product. So undersize is taken for the further processing, whether it is flotation or some other process, and the oversize is given back into the ball mill for reduction of the size. Here you can see the cross section and the action of the rollers in the ball mill. So even in the picture A, you are seeing that the balls are rotating, and then uh, they are falling down. If the rotation speed of rotation is very high, the what happens is shown in picture B, where the balls and the material will be sticking to the inner shell of the rotating body, and then there will be no crushing. So in the third, when the speed of rotation is less than the critical, then what happens is part of the movement of the balls is like sticking to the inner shell, and part of it is like falling down. So some part it will have attrition on the way it is going up, and then on the way when it is coming falling down, it will be on the size reduction will happen in the due to gravity. What are the advantages of ball mill? Ball mill produces very fine powders. It can grind different types of material from wet to dry. It can be used for continuous operation. They are simple to operate and clean. It is used to completely closed form. That is, toxic materials or vapors or fumes or solution is not going to affect the persons who are in the area. So fluid energy bill is used in pharmaceuticals generally, not used in mining operations. So let us leave it for the time being. So here we have completed the process. Now let us talk about ball crusher. So crushers are of two types. One is the gyratory crusher, another is the. So in a crusher, typically there will be a confining space, and there will be two types of plates. One is the fixed plate, another is the moving plate. The moving plate moves against the fixed plate, and the material, because of the conical shape, the material can move down only if the size is reduced. So the gap on the top will be useful in taking the raw material. The gap on the bottom will be useful for taking out the finished product. So the run of mine, ROM as it is called, is fed into the jaw crusher, and jaw crusher, the crushing plates of the jaw will be moving towards each other, and then moving away. So because it is attached to a circulating motion, So like a cam in a shaft, on a shaft, the plates will be moving because of the cam action. So the plates will be moving close and far in every cycle, one cycle in every cycle. So when it is coming closer to each other, the potential energy that is stored, the kinetic energy that is stored in the during the rotation will be stored in a flywheel, and that flywheel will be transmitting the its energy to the crushing plates. So the crushing effect happens on the material. So a smaller machine can actually crush very hard materials in the jaw. Advantage of jaw crusher is that it is simple in mechanism, and it can be installed anywhere, and then it has got no effect due to dust or anything. The size reduction takes place from 1 to 1.5 meters from that input size to somewhere around 12 mm, 6 mm, up to 6 mm size. So you have to crush it not in one stage but in three stages. So that is a jaw crusher. The jaw crusher, when it cannot be used, jaw crusher cannot be used when there is moisture in the product that is being fed into. If there is moisture in the product, what happens is the final particles, they start closing the gap artificially, and then choking happens. So what happens if the size reduction is not 1 in 7 but more? When size reduction is optimum size reduction is around 1 in 5 to 1 in 7. So that means if you have a 1 meter size, by reducing it to 5 times, the maximum size that can be obtained is around 150 mm. But if you try to keep the ratio much higher, the plates get choking very fast. So that is thing. So now let us talk about gyratory crusher. Gyratory crusher is a crusher in which the rotating spindle against a fixed outer case, it moves, and then the material is the spindle is attached to a rotatory platform, and the platform is moved by belts or other things through a motor, electric motor. So the electric motor rotates. The motion of the electric motor is transmitted to the rotating table through belts, and when the rotating table is moving, there will be eccentric location of the spindle, and the spindle moves in a fixed outer thing. So what happens is there will be a reduced gap on one side, almost to nil, and there will be ample gap on the other side to about 1.5 meters. So the run-off mine materials are dropped into this, and this rotating table moves. Because of the asymmetric location of the spindle, the spindle also rotates in the outer casing, and then the material is from higher size to lower size. There is a sort of compression, attrition principle acting, and the material is reduced in size. The reduced material will go down the gap that is provided at the bottom because it is not 100% closed. Some the materials which are passing through the which have got crushed, and they can go down the gap. They will go down and they get accumulated at the bottom. So which are screened by a screener. The screen may be a vibrating screen. The over sizes from the vibrating screen will be flowed back through a system of conveyors to the top of the gyratory crusher. The bottom of the screened material, whichever is undersized, it will be the finished product, and that will directly go to for the next process, either further reduction or processing directly. So now we have discussed a jaw crusher, uh, which is used most very frequently in very abrasive and strong materials. A gyratory crusher, also used in very strong materials, and usually for iron ore and other metallic minerals, this gyratory crusher is used. And gyratory crusher has got the advantage that it can be used in for big product size. So that is a very great advantage, and the reduction ratios are up to 1:1 in 20. So that means there is a direct reduction of 20 times downside in one go. So this is a great advantage, and these are the advantages in a mine mill, mine site. So the ROM comes out. As we have already discussed, I want to summarize that whenever we are doing crushing, we always usually associate it with the screening, and the bore size will be flowed back to the crusher inlet, and the underside of that screen will be utilized for the next of the process. So here what happens is the screen, if you want to increase the screen, one is you can increase the area of the screen, or you can have it a vibratory screen, which is much more efficient in screening large quantities of materials, and the flow rates, higher flow rates can be achieved. So the screen size and the crushing rate of the crusher will be adjusted in such a way that there is no say bundling or accumulation of material at one place. So the capacities will be matched. So if we are using primary crushing, secondary crushing, and tertiary crushing, that is 3 stages of crushing, we can come from a product from the initial size of about 1.5 meters to a size of something like 6 mm or 5 mm. So that much of crushing can be achieved through 3 stages of crushing known as primary, secondary, and tertiary crushing. So once we have a necessity to reduce further up to 100 microns or so, what we do is we take it into the wet process, that is by milling. Usually we have a series of ball mills. Again, ball mills are arranged in primary, secondary, and tertiary mode. And after the primary ball mills, what we will have is a classifier. The reduction ratio can be expected to be somewhere around 1 in 15 or so. So from a size of about 6 to 10 mm, the product can go to a size of something like 1 mm or less 0.5 mm. So here the bore size can always be flowed back to the mill. The fluid levels are adjusted not to increase high or low, because fluid levels will be monitored. Similarly, the feed rates are monitored, and if the feed rates are moving fast, then the process will be inefficient. So if the feed is moving too slow, then there will be choking effect in the ball mill. So the speeds of classification and the original material input will be adjusted in such a way that there is uniform crushing and efficient crushing takes place. So the flow rates will be adjusted suitably. Similarly, if you want to reduce further than 0.5 mm to a size of say 500 microns or say 1000 microns, then what we do is we do secondary milling. In secondary milling, we again use water, and then the finished product of the first stage will be taken in, and then again the process repeats. There will be balls, and the balls will be impacting, and due to attrition and impact, the grading takes place, and the product that is coming out of the ball mill will be again classified using a classifier. Here, if once the size reduction has been achieved, then there may be some removal of water, and then they putting back into the ball mill. So the flow rates are always adjusted in the secondary crushing also, and the classifier will be giving the product the tertiary crusher, where the size reduction from 1000 to 1000 or 750 microns to somewhere around 100 to 75 microns can be achieved. So here in any comminution, the most important thing is the amount of energy that you are spending. So the process should be energy efficient, and we have to be always watching the energy consumption in a communication equipment. So we are using the proper process that is suitable to the type of material, whether what it is hardness, softness, the parameters that we have discussed earlier. So those parameters have to be considered while choosing the proper comminution equipment. If there are any doubts, we can discuss this later. అది కాదు నా పిక్చర్ రాదా ఇలా